Along with the theory of Aryan men, the Nazis developed their own methodology for determining true Aryan women. The external parameters were not much different from those of men. The skull is distinctive, elongated, convex occiput, oblong face, small forehead, narrow nose and slightly angular chin. Skull narrowed at the temples, cheekbones arranged almost vertically, skin color very white, height is no less than 170 centimeters, thick hair color from golden to completely white, symmetrical face, no hair on the legs or body, no congenital diseases, late puberty and late aging, straight, white, healthy teeth, extremely straight posture, arm span of about 95% of height. The figure was partially feminine, but to a greater extent, there were in fact no fundamental differences. The Nazis took the ancient Greek antique forms as their ideal proportions. It is true though that if we move away from the bodily forms, there were rather strict requirements for the appearance of women, because the Nazis promoted the image of a real German woman and a real German girl, as well as them being companions of men and boys, wives, mothers, sisters. The upbringing ideology of such German women was even expressed in the creation of an entire network of the so-called bride schools. The girls were taught cooking, ironing, gardening, child and animal care, German folk songs, legends and stories. The future mothers were prepared to take over the upbringing of their children, but in accordance with the ideology of Nazism. By the way, at the end of the course, special certificates were even issued, without the presence of which the girl could not get married. In addition, there were also quite strict requirements for appearance because a real German woman or girl should: first, not smoke. Hitler planned to ban smoking altogether after the victory. Second, not wear makeup. It was believed that a real German woman could not use makeup as it spoiled her, so to speak, Aryanness. Third, at the beginning of 1941, the Imperial Association of Hairdressers had issued a directive limiting women's hairstyles to 10 centimeters in length. Therefore, hairstyles of longer hair in hairdressing salons could simply even be shortened if the hair was not tucked into a modest bundle or braided into braids. As an example of appearance propaganda, one could find an article from the main German propaganda magazine for women, NS Frauenwarte, Who is Frau Kollontai, the 8th issue of the magazine, where a photo of Alexandra Kollontai was also located in the text. The photo was chosen on purpose. The woman looks sideways, her hair is tangled, and in general Kollontai is shown as shapeless, incorporeal, and her posture is the exact opposite of that of real Germans. Also, German girls explicitly required sports activities, taking into account the female anatomy, hiking, camping in the woods time to time, and so on. Accordingly, the Nazis officially promoted the image of the Aryan beauty, healthy, strong, tanned and feminine. At the same time, bad habits were simply ruled out for women. For example, in August of 1933, the District Committee of the NSDAP in Breslau forbade women with makeup to be admitted to party meetings, and posters throughout Germany even hung, "The German does not smoke." Special requirements were for, as mentioned above, the clothing of German girls and women. A real German wore white blouses and long skirts because the Nazis approached women's clothing with extreme meticulousness. It shouldn't dishonor women. No cuts or necklines. Even when buying clothes, a German had to first of all put the interests of the nation and not her own. Even the SS newspaper Das Schwarzkorps touched on a seemingly uncharacteristic theme for the subject matter of this print topic: non-Aryan clothing that emphasizes individual style rather than the unity maintained by the SS is unhealthy and alien to the German race. This is why German girls and women were simply required to wear only plain clothes and not to wear any jewelry. But why was this done? To make it impossible for individual coquetry and to harden the spirit of German girls. In other words, the main principle of so-called Aryanism was the complete loss of individual external distinctions. This was also promoted through the fine art of German women. But the distinctive feature with the external idealism of the forms was the absence of personal characteristics. Also, as a rule, German art of this time emphasized the shape of the figure and the ideal antique face mask.